What's up, everybody? Welcome to another awesome episode of the Meathead Podcast. Joining me in Big Mike Cox is the one and only legendary Lee Priest, all the way from Australia. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Every time they use the word legendary or legend, I think it's just a polite way to say old, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been called that, and I'm like, legendary? Come on now. I don't know about legendary, but if you want to say it, go for it. All right, we're going to get right into it. We got a lot to talk about. So we are all good friends of Giles Thomas, so maybe we're a little biased, but I'm going to play the confrontation, or whatever we're going to call it. Giles was commentating. He's doing the pay-per-view commentary at the Romania Muscle Fest, and this was a week and a half ago at this point. During the pose down, so right before they go back on stage to get their awards and their checks and all that good crap, Giles is sitting there taping. Him and AJ are filming the festivities, and here is what happened.
Hey, next time you want to talk shit about me, do it to my face.
And that was Highway to Hell by AC/DC in the background for those who don't know. So I haven't talked to either one of you guys about this. Now, I'm not saying the IFBB should fine him or sanction him or nothing like that, but I do believe he was out of line. I think he does owe Giles an apology. Lee, let's start with you. You're the star of the show. What do you think?
Well, I'm shocked because I know Martin, was it years ago when Martin was sort of had problems, didn't he have problems with Branch or something and other things? He was sort of in that place where he was, I don't know whether, sometimes people go through a growing period where they find themselves and go through a period of just, I don't know, acting out or saying things. And then later on, you sort of grow up and you sort of take things back. I never did because I'm a fucking idiot, but I thought Martin had moved on and had changed and his whole attitude had been different and he got into his training and realized his mistakes from the past. So seeing that was sort of a shock to me because he's at a contest. He must know he's close to winning this show or going to be second, but he must have had a clue he's going to probably win it. So I don't understand where you could be in the happiness of, in the moment of getting out there posing for the crowd and doing all this shit, and you see Giles and look, it wasn't like Giles said anything bad about his wife or his mother or slept with his wife or his mother or fucking killed his dog or something you could understand, but he gave a critique a year ago, and I'm sure they've bumped into each other since then. I know Giles travels a lot and is around a lot, and they could have had this conversation over the phone even if they just picked up the phone if Martin was that hurt by it. So it just seemed, it just didn't seem the right thing to do, and it just sort of, now that people have seen it, because I saw it before but didn't say anything about it, it just seems to bring a downer on Martin's win now because it was such a good day for Martin and the way he looked there compared to Olympia, he'd improved a bit and everyone was like, thinking it's fantastic. So it just seemed to put a downer on his win now. So it just sort of wasn't a good look. And should he apologise? Well, we all say he should, but, that's up to Martin how he feels. And, it's going to be one of those things, is he going to or not? But it was just weird. And then he said something to Samson, I guess. He might have told Samson what he said. And the look Samson gave Giles, I was a bit shocked at because I know Giles and Samson have done tours together and stuff overseas and different things. And he knows him because they're both from the same area. So, and look, it's just weird these days when, look, back in our day, we had the magazines and, people would say shit about me in the magazine. Remember all the gossip columns? There'd always be some shit written up in there, or the Get Big boards were, my God, I don't think half these guys today could handle the Get Big board back into the shit they'd be saying there. They'd be like, Lee, I'm banging your daughter, I'm banging your mother, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'd just laugh. I'm like, look, if that's what you want to say, go right. If that makes you feel better. Because it's the old sticks and stones type thing. It's like, why get upset over just someone's opinion on how you look? We're in a sport where you pretty much say, give me feedback, give me your opinions from the judges. And when you're up there, people are going to give you their opinions. So you can't get upset because, yeah, we all like to hear the good things, but, you're going to hear some negative stuff as well. And it's how you handle the negative stuff is what makes you a true champion, like how you handle a loss in a contest. Anyone's going to be happy when they win, but it's how you are in defeat that makes the true champion.
David Dirth from Ohio, what do you think?
Listen, he held on to this for a fucking year, right?
Yeah.
The entire world thought Bumstead should have beat you. I thought Martin beat him, but everybody thought the same thing. You beat our bodybuilding Jesus. You're on top of the freaking world, right? But for you to hang on to this for a year, man, like it's easy now as an old man to say let it go. But when you're 27 in that moment, I still want to beat somebody's ass from 8th grade. It's part of me does, right? Just because it's still in my head. But it's a bad look. He beat a Mr. Olympia that night, right?
Yeah.
Like you can't let your emotions get the best of you. And another thing, everything's on camera now. There's cameras everywhere. Anything you say or do can be used against you in bodybuilding in the court of law. So we saw that originally before it even came out, right? And it's just not a good look. I don't know him as a person, right? But to hang on to that kind of animosity and just angst over a full year, like Lee said, people don't do this anymore. They don't pick the phone up. This all could have been handled by a phone call, not a text, not an email, not a fax, but a phone call. Just pick the phone. Hey, Giles, what'd you say about me? And like Lee said, he didn't talk about you personally. It wasn't a personal attack. It was about your physique and sebum. The first column I went to in Muscle Mag was Steve Neese's. I want to see Bobby Keeper's column. Gossip, man, it makes the sport go around kind of like you see it now because we have cameras. I would have paid $1 million to see what went on in Venice Beach like in the 90s. Money. That's drama. This is like, okay, calm down. But Giles is a good dude. Giles knows his shit. He's a stand-up guy, man. Like, just pick the phone up, bro.
Well, Steve Neese was almost like the Eric before that. Eric would go around with the height and tape measurement because Steve Neese would actually come into the gym. Ron would remember if he was there at the times, and he'd have a little lunchbox with him, like a normal little kid's lunchbox. And in that, he'd have a tape measure and everything. And he would ask you, so Lee, what are you weighing? I'd say, okay, this is what I'm weighing. Come to the scale. I'd go to the scale. Okay, you're right. Lee, how big your arms? I'd say 21 today. You'd measure them. You're right. But so many people, when Steve would walk around Golds and say, what's your body weight and arm measurement? They'd tell him, he goes, can I measure it? Oh, no, not today. And they'd all walk away, or they'd be like, oh, I'm carb depleted. I haven't eaten. Like every excuse under the sun would come out because he'd put them on the spot right there and go, well, let's measure it for the magazine. Oh, no, can't do it.
He was a character. He wore Daisy Dukes. He was a big, goofy white guy with curly hair, Coke bottle glasses, mustache. Oh, he was a nut job. But God rest his soul. I want to go real quickly. So Giles, he conceded victory to Martin on the second day in Romania last year. But let me show you. This is the footage where during the judging where Bumstead was. I think he was clearly beating him here. Tell me what you guys think. This was the pre-judging of the Romania Muscle Fest last year. Martin's tan looked pretty crappy. He was holding a bunch of water because he had torn a quad while posing on stage and immediately started holding a ton of water from the cortisol. Tell me, am I on crack? But I have Bumstead winning this from what we're looking at.
I don't know. It's for me, it's still a muscle show. It's still open bodybuilding, right? Martin's denser. He's got denser muscle. Sebum's beautiful, pretty physique. His aura, you can see his aura around him, and he was darker, right? It's still to me, Ryan, like it's still bodybuilding to me, right? It's still Martin's bigger, right? He's not 100%. He was holding water, but I still thought Martin was a better man that day.
Okay, well, I mean, in the end, he won. He beat him.
Yeah. So look at it that you can make an argument for any of them and that, but too, and someone just said it takes courage to defend yourself. That's not defending yourself. That's making yourself look like a fool. If you want to defend yourself, you talk to the person quietly, or he could have even made a joke out of it and goes, hey, how's that? He said, I couldn't win last year. What about this year? He could have just had fun with it and said a comment like that rather than saying what he said. He could have turned it into something playful, and he could have sort of let Giles know in a smart ass way without being rude, but how do you like me today type thing, you know? How do you like me now type thing? So,
yeah. Well, it should be said, and other people have already. Giles said it on our Power Hour, but they were at the after party a couple hours later at the promoter's house. They were in close proximity. Martin walked past him several times. He had all the opportunity in the world to come over and say, you know what, Giles, I didn't like the fact that you had Bumstead beating him. He could have said what he wanted to say to my face right there, but he didn't do it. So,
or he could have even said, you know, Giles, hey, sorry about what happened a couple of hours ago. In the moment, I got heated. I got hot under the head because, you know, we all can do silly things in contest mode when we're depleted and that, if you want to use it as an excuse. But he could have just apologized and said, hey, I was caught up in the moment. I saw you there and I just brought it back and I just said it, but I want to apologize. And could have said that even and then just let it be, move on. They're both grown adults and that sort of thing. So it was, like I said, it just put a downer on his victory there. Now that people have seen it, to me, it just sort of takes that shine off his victory.
You know, Ron, too, I think a lot of guys don't appreciate the media nowadays because they're kind of in control of their own media, right? Like before, like this would have never happened to Peter McGuff or Julian Schmidt, right?
Yeah.
Or none of those, or Ricky Wayne. Nobody, right? It may have, right? Maybe behind closed door, right? But it would have been so public. But you have to take criticism. It's not in this sport. You're half naked on stage with baby oil, right? When you're breaking this shit right down to it, right? The judges are critiquing you as we speak. They're saying you got the fifth best physique on stage. You have the best physique. There's a winner. There's a loser, right? Yeah. It's a bad look. You know what I mean? But I was young and dumb too, right? We were young and dumb, and God, I'm glad we don't have video cameras back then, right? Because we've said some dumb shit. We've done some dumb shit, but I mean, you gotta respect his opinion. You know what I mean? You gotta respect the judge's opinion and your guys' opinion.
Yeah, that's the thing that kills me is they say Giles is and they put it in quotes, so-called expert with 30 plus years of covering shows, taking athletes on tours, interviewing thousands of athletes. If that's not an expert, what is? Who is? So I don't know. That really got under my skin.
I know.
Another thing is, they mocked Giles saying, "Oh, I have a heart condition." It's funny because I looked at the Instagrams of a lot of these guys who were mocking Giles for saying he's got to go to the cardiologist. And a lot of you guys, if that was you, you're going to be going to a cardio. You're going to have a heart attack, some of you, because I can see your juice out of your skulls. You probably don't check your blood pressure. You probably don't do anything to check your heart. So some of you guys making fun of Giles, you're going to have a heart attack just like he did. And you might not even survive yours. So be careful when you mock people for stuff like that. When you're doing things.
And Giles, when he had his heart attack, was still fairly young. And as far as I've known Giles, yes, when he's competed, he's used a little bit. But, I've talked to him before, and he was never a big abuser like some of these guys making fun of him. So, like you said, Ron, if they're making fun of him having one, they're just as likely to have one themselves. So you shouldn't, the old karma can come back and get you.
I'm a straight mother after, bro. And as far as Giles knows his shit, right? You don't have to be 280 pounds to know bodybuilding, right? Mm-hmm. He was bareback in what he said, 95, 96 back in the English Grand Prix, writing shit back then. So this is before these kids were still in their father's ball sack when he was covering shows, right? They don't understand kind of the history of the sport and what his contribution. And you too, Ron, what your contributions are. Like I said, you guys are the two Mohicans, bro. You guys are the last two kind of bridge between the writers and kind of this kind of crazy shit we're in now, so to speak. But I don't think they understand the significance of what you guys done in the sport. You know what I mean? Supporting sport, writing for the sport, writing for MD. It's a different time, and kids don't appreciate shit, really.
Yeah. One final thing, because I want to wrap. I don't want to talk about this all night. I think some of this started because Martin is Brett Wilkins' training partner and very good friends, and I never had an issue with Brett. But 2 years before that, at the 2022 Romania Muscle Fest, I hope I'm getting all this right, Behruz Tabani and Brett were neck and neck after, because it's always been a 2-day show, I guess. And Giles in the commentary said he had Behruz winning, and Behruz actually did win. He went on to win, unlike Bumstead didn't win. But ever since then, Brett has not spoken to Giles, and he hates Giles.
Well, I've heard a couple of those, like Brett and Martin. I've seen a couple of people in comments say they've like been on their page and just gave them like an opinion on how they looked, and they get blocked. So to me, it's like, look, if someone's on your page, like I've blocked a few people only because I said I love the trolls, because I'll troll them back and have fun with it. But it's only when they repeat the same stuff over and over, I'm like, look, if we're going to play this game of insults, at least get new material. If it's the same stuff, I'm going to block you. So, but yet these guys can just get a comment where somebody doesn't like them or say, oh, you looked a bit smooth, and that block. It's like, you got to hear the bad with the good. You just can't go on your page and get praise and praise and praise. And as soon as someone says something negative, block. You got to be a bit thick-skinned, even though bodybuilding to win, you got to have thin skin, but you need to have thick skin when it comes to comments.
It's like what Mike said is, back in those days, there were critics and there were writers, and you had to listen to criticism. But now these guys control their own media with their Instagram pages, their YouTube channels. Mm-hmm. They can just delete or block anything negative, and they don't want to hear anything but praise. They just want to be, as the young kids say, glazed, because my son's young, so that's how I know.
Well, I remember a funny story. I remember back in Golds, in the late 90s, when Rico and Flex and Chris and all them trained together, and Paul, I remember one time Flex was a little bit watery, and they told him he was a little bit watery and off and that, and he didn't talk to him for a couple of months. That was like the early day of blocking. I'm just not going to talk to you.
You block people to their face. Oh, man. All right, ready to move on. Where we're done. I guess the last thing I want to say about that is, God. Giles is actually thinking about never doing commentary again. It's like people don't want to hear anything except praise.
You shouldn't do that. That's like giving them the power and they win. Exactly. It's like, just keep being yourself. Like I said, I've known Giles for like my first tour with him was 20 years ago, and I've done 3 in the last year and a half, and got another one planned for May next year. So, like I said, I've never seen him rip into anyone rudely or say anything derogatory or stuff like that. He's just given his opinion on if he's on a show. And even when I've been around him, and like, I'm sure if I was around him now, he'd probably say what Martin did sort of upset him, but I could guarantee he still wouldn't say anything bad about Martin to go, that fucking asshole, this, that. He'd just be like, what he did sort of hurt that, because Giles is that type of person where some people do have that vindictive bone in their body and talk shit and that. But, Giles, like I said, I've hung out with him for weeks on end when I've been on tour, and he's talked about people who he doesn't like, but he still doesn't put them down in a bad way to people he doesn't like. So
even soft, man. Like probably a guy on YouTube said the Dallas Cowboys quarterback is trash. And this guy that said it, he's got like 1 million followers. And the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, he just takes it. Athletes, bodybuilders aren't kind of trained in how to kind of take criticism well. In other sports, they talk about you like a dog in football and basketball on sports talk radio.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Bill Belichick probably got shit when he let Tom Brady go in Boston, right? The hate that other sports get is nothing compared to this, right? Nothing whatsoever. No. So just man up and just keep scrolling. You don't got to just scroll. Just keep on scrolling, bro.
And the thing is, too, whether you're Martin or anyone, if you're an elite bodybuilder on a pro stage winning shows and that, it shouldn't matter what people say. You're up there. You're a champion. So what people say is really irrelevant. They can say you're shit. Yeah, but I won the show. So what? People say to me, oh, Lou, you just get pissed because you never won the Olympia. I'm like, I knew I never won the Olympia, but I was on the Olympia stage, 7 odd times or more, and placed in the top 6 3 or 4 times. So I'm like, I was still up there. So what you say to me doesn't bother me, because like you said, this is coming from kids who weren't born when I was competing. It's like Jay Cutler and I did that podcast, and we talked about high volume training and all these 16, 17-year-olds. What about Dorian? What about Mensa? You two don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, I think Jay did pretty well with the Olympia. So, everyone trains different, of course, but I've seen Dorian train back in the old days, and his workouts, I hate to break it to you, were longer than 45 minutes. And when I did say to Mensa once about the training, did he believe it? He goes, "Oh yeah, it does work." Because I used to talk to him at the front of the gym a lot when he was smoking, chain smoking out there. And I said to him, I was doing pretty good. I know he had the book that came out around that time and that. I said, "Do you enjoy training people?" Then he goes, "Lee," and this is what he said to me, if he was here, he'd probably say it, but he said, "Lee," he goes, "See, who was that guy in there? He used to look like Richie Cunningham and that, he looked, he used to train. He had the towel, always had the towel around his neck and looked almost like people, he'd point to him and go, 'See them, Lee? They charge this much for an hour or more.' He goes, 'In that hour,' he goes, 'I can get roughly 2 to 3 people through, so I make more money.' So it's a good system."
It was crazy. I was around Venice when Mike was a trainer there, Mike Mensa, and I always wanted to just say hi, and I was such a chicken shit. I never did, and then a couple of years later he was dead, and I was like,
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my God, he's outside smoking." Mike Mensa is smoking a cigarette, and then he had that beat to shit brown station wagon that he drove around.
Yeah. It was like the Brady Bunch car.
I know you're not that broke, but whatever. All right, let's move on. Enough of that. Let's talk about Andrew Jacked, the rise of Andrew Jacked. So let's look at Andrew versus Juan. This is Romania. So he looked even better, I thought. I've heard others say he was fuller, but the conditioning wasn't as good as the Olympia. I know we're looking at different lighting and all that, but Lee, do you think Andrew did look better here than he did at the Olympia?
Yeah, I think if he was a little bit better, just a little, but he wasn't any worse. So he was either the same or just that little bit better. But like you said, lighting can just do that alone. So the way lighting shines on people. But even at the Olympia, like I said, I know people got mad at me. I said, I respect Derek for winning the judge's decision. But even at the Olympia, my eyes were drawn to him and Hardy more than Derek. And, you could have really made an argument for Hardy winning and for Andrew winning, even at the Olympia. So here, I think, Andrew, if he's doing the Arnold, which I think he could be doing. So I think, we might see him come along. Remember the old Ronnie from, 97 and 96, and then come 98, everyone was like, boom. So maybe Andrew might give us another Ronnie where we've seen him now, but maybe next year he might come out and shock us all that much more again. So like I said, he's got plenty of potential, and he's not like, even though he's a little bit older in age, as far as training body-wise, his body's still pretty fresh.
Yeah, training age. He's only been a pro for 3 years.
Yeah.
3.5 years.
That's just, it's kind of like, he's like Optimus Prime, a transformer. It's just such a different look, right? It's not like, it's not like a typical look, but it's just, you look at that and you just want to shake your head. Every now and then you see a bodybuilder that you just sit there and you don't say shit, but you just look and try to figure out how do you look like that, right? We got a guy, he's tall, he's got a small waist, V-taper, and he's figuring out the conditioning. And the posing got better for the show. So he's going to be a real problem, dude. Like this guy, remember we said a couple of years ago to Arnold, when he finally nails it, and we've been waiting, and when he finally put it together, and it's a beautiful package. It's something like, it's art. That he's got a beautiful physique, and I'm sure we're all part of the Short Club. I love Derek and Hottie, but a good big man's gonna beat a good little man any day, and he's gonna cause a lot of problems for Hottie and Derek. He gets better like Samson every show.
Andrew is like the freaky version of Lee Haney.
Yes. It took Lee Haney, gave him all of our goodies back in '88. This is what you get. It's just it's a nasty look, and it's classic bodybuilding is what that is.
Yeah, I mean, third place, and I guess Chat GPT, according to Matt over at Muscle Discord, had him winning the Olympia. So, but I think you could have argued for him to win that Olympia. Like, how were Derek and Hottie necessarily better? What did they beat him on, really?
I don't know, because it's like you're even just saying then. It's like, to me, when I look at, this is what I said about Derek. I like it that he's Mr. Olympia. That's great. But to me, when you look at someone like Jay, or when it was Phil or Dorian or Ronnie, or when I look at Andrew, you get that wow, it just stops you in your track. Like, as great as Derek looks, I don't get that, my God, wow factor like I do with people like that. And to me, when I see a Mr. Olympia, that's what I want to get. I want to get like, that's almost impossible to obtain anyone, no matter how good your genetics are, to look like that, like a Ronnie or a Phil Heath. You're going to be in that 1% or the 0.5 of the 1% that look like that. And when I see a Mr. Olympia, that's what I want to see, just like where it just takes your breath away. Like, it's almost like you're looking at it, but it almost looks like AI on stage because it just looks so unreal. And like I said, as good as Derek is, I just don't get that wow factor from Derek like I do looking at an Andrew or something.
When those guys walked out, though, when like Ronnie walked out, when Andrew walks out, even when Samson walks out, it's like, that's Mr. Olympia. Like nothing again, like I said, nothing is a Derek or Hottie, but I'm so used to seeing that ginormous man. That's Mr. Olympia. When Dorian walked out, you're like, shit. It's over with. He won. When Ronnie walked out, you're like, well, who's second place? Even with Phil, Phil would walk out kind of bubbly. You're like, Kai's got second place this year. Dexter's got third place. It's just now we've kind of had that lull where it changes hands every so often. But I think, Andrew is that guy that can maybe put together 2, 3 wins in a row. And like I said, he's older in age, but his body's not beat up. He doesn't have those years and years where, Hottie's getting older. Derek's he's big, but how much better can he get? Dude, this he looks like he could probably get even a little bit bigger than Andrew could.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Do you guys think?
Ron, do I have to mention? I see it in the comments. Do I have to mention your Superman shirt, Ron? Is that in honor of me, the Superman shirt?
Well, obviously, I mean, I was going to throw this away like years ago. I'm like, why am I keeping this?
Well,
I never wear it. It's something
you knew you'd need it.
One day I'm going to need this shirt. I don't know when or why, but I'll need the shirt someday. People said give Kamala Garni some credit because he did. Andrew was out in Tampa, I think, for 3 or 4 months, training every day with Kamal. I'm actually interviewing Kamal tomorrow. He's in Libya.
Nice.
So
I think I saw on the latest one with Chris Aceto and Dave, Kamal was in the apartment with them before they flew back. And I think Kamal was saying he was going to spend another couple of weeks with Andrew now. And then I think before the Arnold, they're going to hook up and be training together for at least 7 weeks or something. If I might have heard wrong, but they are going to be training a bit together again leading up to the Arnold.
Do you think it's a good idea for him to do the Arnold, or would you rather see him sit everything out until the next Olympia?
The money's so good for the Arnold, that would be hard, but I think Andrew, because he's done so many shows, if he sat it out and just waited for the Olympia, I think we would see another Ronnie 97, 98, because he'd have all that time to put that little, and like I said, he doesn't need much more. You put 5 pounds on that and come in shredded, that little bit's going to make a huge difference on his frame. So it would be nice to see him wait it out. But then again, if he can do it, and he's proved he can do show after show, so that 750,000 is a nice payday if you can get it.
It's hard to pass up that kind of money, dude. Like you get that life changing. I never thought a bodybuilding show would have $750,000, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. That goes a long way in Dubai. A long way.
That would be like what Ronnie, when he won, got 100,000. So that would be like Ronnie win that 7 years in a row, and he gets that in one go.
One night, man.
I told Giles my dream scenario is Andrew goes to the Arnold, wins that, and then he stays. Maybe he does a health phase for a month or something. Then he comes back and stays with Kamal in Tampa for another 3 months, makes even more improvements. Because what does he really need at this point? Aside from a little more hamstrings, his back is a lot better than it ever was. What else do you guys think Andrew really needs to move up?
Even if he could get that Ronnie conditioning, he's almost there, because we've seen before. We've seen guys can almost come in the same weight, but at that weight, they're a little bit fuller and drier. And once you're on stage, we all know bodybuilding's an illusion. If you can come in drier, you look bigger. And that's the thing. Some guys try and come in too big, but they look smooth under the lights. If he can keep all that size and just, get that real quality, like I said, the Dexter dryness, or the way Ronnie was that time, or Dorian dryness, if he can get that with the cross styrations, he'd be pretty much untouchable.
And his legs are, the thing with him though, is he gets so separated and detailed.
Yeah.
Like Samson doesn't get that kind of detail or separation between the bicep and tricep. Even in that front double, you can still see his obliques, the small waist, all the quad heads are separated. It's that kind of detail and size is a hard combination to beat, man. But the selfish fan in me says, shut it down, screw the 750, do a pull Ronnie and show what they are. Can you imagine if he took a year off, the hype leading up to him coming into the Olympia? Because he doesn't show anything anyway. So that first initial, it's a long way to wait. And, I don't want to wait that long as a fan, but it would just be a hell of a show if him and Samson both took the year off. But again, $750,000 is a lot of money. He's shown he can peak pretty multiple times, right? He did it. Aceto has these guys peak multiple times, but you wonder if there's any kind of, Aceto's got, Lunsford and Andrew now, so you wonder how that dynamic is going to work out, or if it will be a problem.
And generally for like big guys, you don't see him normally peak that many times a year for a big guy. So, it's good. It's good to see that he's doing it. And Samson, Samson went out there and, as Mr. Olympia, he put the title on the line and stuff like that. So I give him more credit for doing that, because I've always said it's pros. If you're a pro, you should at least compete 2 or 3 times a year minimum, no matter who you are, whether you're Mr. Olympia or not. It's great for the promoters. It's great for the fans. So, and it's what you do. If you're getting paid to eat, sleep, and train, come on, 1 show a year, guys. That's a bit, come on. That's a bit lazy. Come on.
I mean, you in your era, Lee, the money was nothing like this.
No.
Skipping shows, like Sean Ray, look back, he didn't do that many shows. He did a lot of Olympias, but he would compete once a year, and that was it, one and done. But maybe
he always kept himself busy though with guest appearances and stuff. And back in our day, we didn't have social media, so we competed more, because the more you competed, you look better, you get better contracts, you look good, you get magazine covers, you'll get magazine contracts. So, I think we have. I don't know if they say we train harder. We might have a little bit, but I just think we had more fire, because the better we did back in our day and the more shows you did, you got better contracts. So you could make a living just from competing and stuff. If you were to get lazy and sit back and do 1 show a year and you come in shit, you're going to lose your contract. The magazines aren't going to want to shoot you. So I think we all had that desire to outdo each other, because we were fighting for contracts and magazine covers and stuff like that. Whereas today, no one cares. I can put my own photos on Instagram and do this and do that, make money from YouTube and stuff. So it's different in that aspect, I think, today. That's why I think the fire in us burned a bit brighter back then, because we were fighting tooth and nail to get these contracts.
True.
Back then it was, I think now you have a lot of this kind of top heavy, to where there's 5 or 6 really good guys, right? And then you've got another set of guys to where they're fighting to kind of get in that top 5 spot. But, when you have only 5 guys getting paid at the Olympia, right? If you're not one of those top 5 guys, it kind of makes more sense to do a lot of shows during the year, kind of make a little bit more money, because you're not going to get that 200, that 30,000, 40,000, 80, 100,000 at the Olympia. So do more shows. But if you got Andrew doing multiple shows, you're kind of like, oh, shit. It's interesting because it seems there's a lot of more money in bodybuilding, but the top guys are getting all that money. Like Derek made a lot of money this year, bro.
Yeah,
I'd like to see it broken down. Well, like Arnold being 750 last year, it was like, what was it, 500 or whatever it was?
Yeah, 500.
Even if they went to 650 this year for the winner, and take the other 100,000 and break it down for the other top 10 guys, because that's what I just stood up for that time at the Olympia press conference, when I said, listen, I understand, we're all here at the Olympia, the Super Bowl, and I just found it disgusting that guys who are at the Olympia, if you didn't make top 10, you didn't get a fucking dollar. And that's when I gave Wayne that letter, and he went, okay, this and that. And from that day on, back then, if you didn't make top 10, at least you got 2,000, which isn't enough. Fucking who cares? But if you're in Vegas, $2,000, it's better than nothing type thing. So everyone got 2,000. And so I just figure something like the Olympia, it should be paid down more, and everyone should get money who's on that Olympia stage.
Let's see, Davey, who just said you should put Andrew on the KFC diet, which I don't think Andrew would. I don't know if he's a fan of KFC.
Hey, come on now. Come on. I don't want to sound racist, but what black man doesn't like fried chicken, Ron? Wake up to yourself.
It's funny.
It is looking good.
Or Church's. He might like Popeyes. We won't hold him to KFC. Church's chicken is great. So is Popeyes. There's a lot of good fried chicken places throughout America. I don't know how I would notice, but I do know.
I mean, I never got that. I'm like, Fried chicken's delicious. Who doesn't love fried chicken? Watermelon in the summer? Watermelon's delicious. Everybody loves watermelon. I don't know how that got started, but so this is a question about Keon. I don't know why we're talking about Keon, Davey. We're trying to stay on topic, but did he get a taste of reality in Prague? And is he going to stay in 212? Like, we'll do this quickly because I don't want to dwell on Keon.
I think so. And, and I'll be the first to admit, look, Keon, you can't beat him on shape. When people, before it was Lee and Flex who would win, now it's Lee and Keon. And I said, look, when it comes to shape, it's hard to beat Keon on shape, but I think where I was lucky for my height when I was competing is I had that freaky look that when I walked on stage, I had that freak where people sort of go, oh shit, look at Lee. I had the freaky thing. Whereas Keon looks great and he has the nice shape, but he doesn't wow me with that freak factor yet. So if he can add muscle, and then he probably needs 5 to 10 pound max. But if he can add a bit more muscle and get that freakier, denser look to him, like I said, when he walks out, so he looks like a mini Phil Heath, like that real 3D look, I think he can start winning open shows. But I think that's just where I said he looks good as it is there, but when he gets near those guys that have that freakier mass, you can see where he doesn't stack up to them. So,
yeah. I mean,
stay 12 for now, or pick the right show. You know what I mean? If he picks the right show too, but he's got the best physique. I feel the best physique look in bodybuilding. It's just he needs time. Like people gotta give him time, man. He's 30 years old. He's coming into his own. Like just give him a little bit of time. Patience, grasshoppers.
Grasshopper. Somebody wanted to know, is that Arnold's? You can't see it now because I got to. Is that Arnold's Hummer on your T-shirt, Lee?
No, it's one like mine. I got a military Humvee. I just finished washing it actually. So
yeah, I just saw you do a Young LA promo on your Instagram from the window of that Hummer. I don't know if you
as Batman and the Joker. Batman. I got a few more Joker ones to put up. I just love how it's annoying some people me dressed as the Joker. It's like Jesus.
The other question.
And like people are like, oh, why would he do this? Why is he being so stupid? And then my reply is, why are you sitting there watching a 53-year-old man dressed as the Joker being a fucking idiot? You're the idiot watching me being an idiot. So
I don't want to clog up this, but what bodybuilders did you look up to when you were a young Lee Priest?
Really, it wasn't really bodybuilders. It was more body parts. Like I liked Arnold, of course, from the movies and that, but it was more like Tom Platz's legs. And then I saw him in a seminar where he was just so truthful. I really liked Tom, but it was like his legs, Eddie Robinson's arms. There wasn't one bodybuilder that I just wanted to look like. I was like bits and pieces. That's why my main favorite person was the He-Man cartoon, because He-Man had everything. So I was like, that's why I wanted to look like He-Man. So if I could have taken body parts, it would have been like I would have said, maybe Tony Pearson's back in the day, or Brian Buchanan's waist and Platz's legs and Eddie Robinson's arms, and just built a physique like that type of thing,
Just so you know, guy, we're not going to tolerate short jokes here. We're all short kings, all three of us.
I know.
We're all well.
That's normally my joke when they say, who do I look up to? I say everybody, because even when I'm at seminars now and when I'm at signings, people go, I look up to you, Lee. I'm like, how can you? You're taller than me. So I always make jokes about my height myself, so it doesn't bother me.
I remember people used to say I look like a midget version of Batista when I used to have that stupid thing on my chest. I met Batista and took a picture of him, but one time he was signing autographs at an expo, and I walked over. I didn't say hi to him, but sitting down, he was the same height as I was standing up. So that was a very humbling experience.
That's what people say to me, Lee, you should do stand-up comedy. I'm like, if I did, would anybody see me?
If you make the jokes first, they can't get shit.
And that's why people say, oh, Lee, you're an idiot. It is. I say, look, if you see me anywhere when I do seminars, I just tell people, look, I'm just Lee. I get embarrassed when people go, you're Lee Priest, you're Lee Priest. I'm like, look, I'm just Lee. I'm a fucking dickhead. So that's me. That's me in a nutshell. So there's nothing you can say to me that I haven't said about myself already.
So yes, am I short? I'm 5'7.5". In my youth, I was 5'8.25". Average male height in the USA is 5'9". Interesting statistics. Malaysia, the average male height is 5'3".
Wow.
Netherlands, it is 6'1 3/4". That's the average guy, the Dutch guy.
Yeah.
Lee, why do you think the Olympia doesn't contract with movie companies or model companies to try to get some of the athletes on more platforms?
Well, I've always said I'd like to see someone like a Jerry Maguire in bodybuilding when it comes to sponsorships, because when it comes to these big shows, we always have the supplement companies, some of the clothing companies, but there's so many other things out there. Like go back to the Arnold or the Olympia, give away a Mustang or a Chevy Corvette, a muscle car, because there are so many, even like Red Bull. Red Bull sponsors people jumping off piers with wings on their back and fucking, what doesn't Red Bull sponsor? So if you can get someone to kick down doors who doesn't take no for an answer, you might go to 5,000 companies. You might get 4,500 no's, but if you can get 500 yeses from some big mainstream companies with money, and yes, we know there's steroids in bodybuilding. I know we shoot ourselves in the foot a lot because we talk about it, but there's steroids still in baseball, NFL, every sport there's steroids. So maybe if we stop talking about it as much, we might do ourselves a good service, and these companies might be like, okay, we'll sponsor them with that. But it's just that we talk about it so much that they sort of shy away. But every sport uses steroids, even soccer players, and they've got all these big name companies. So I think if we just get a no-nonsense person to go out and just kick doors down and get some mainstream sponsors and stuff like that. Could you imagine, like back in the day, say Chevy Corvette gave away a thing at the Olympia? You know, imagine having Bumstead doing a Chevy Corvette commercial or something. He'd be pretty mainstream for the people and that type thing. So I think there are avenues out there. You just need someone with the balls to go out and really hound these people to get these other sponsorships, because it's easy to pick up a protein company or something like that for a bodybuilding show, but I mean, think outside the box.
Hire Bumstead. Bumstead's the best speaker we've ever heard. You can put that guy in a marketing position at IFBB and he would just sell. He's a good looking kid, speaks well, family guy. He's everything you want for the sport. Like if we had magazines, he would be on every muscle and fitness cover. Iron Man. He could actually be the poster boy for the sport, like the real no offense, Bob, athlete's rep.
Well, a few of the guys have Celsius as a sponsor. Yeah. I know Regan does. I think a couple others
does too, right?
Samson, that's a mainstream company. They have,
and they're at every show too. They give out tons of shows too.
I mean, they're in Costco, BJ's, Walmart, you name it.
Even like Powerade, Gatorade, they sponsor so many other sports. Why not bodybuilding? It's like I said, you just need someone to get out there who's not afraid to get the no's, but just keep hounding people, because there's so many companies out there. You'd have to pick up a handful at least that would be willing to come on board that are outside of what we're used to.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next topic. I told you I was going to keep things moving. Nick Walker, he is coachless right now.
Oh, hold on. John Stewart's leaving. He said, still cussing like an antichrist. I'm out. Okay, John Stewart, go fuck yourself. Bye-bye.
Didn't he have his own show for a while, John Stewart? I thought.
Oh, it's probably the same one, because he was a bit of a pissant too, wasn't he? A little snowflake. Bye-bye.
So, I know, Lee, you came from the era where coaches were few and far between. There were a couple of coaches around back then, but not many. I don't know, did Hani work with you once, or did you never have a coach?
He wanted to. He asked me to. Then he just sort of said, he showed me what he wanted. And like I said, he got mad at me because in MD, I think, was it your article when you might have did the interview when I mentioned it to you, and you said, what was the difference? And I said, look, Hani saw my diet and training, said, that's good. I said, all he did was give me a list of 8 different drugs. I said, I'm not taking that many drugs. And I remember Hani's like, you can't say that, can't put it in the magazine. I'm like, well, it's true. That's all you wanted. That's all you wanted to change. I only wanted me to take more gear. It's like, fuck, what do you want?
I don't think I put that in there, did I?
I was in the magazine because he got mad about it. Yeah.
Oh, then I did. Damn it.
Your fault. It's your fault. No, but to me, look, if you're the average person going to the gym, I understand. But to me, if you're a pro bodybuilder, you've come through the amateur ranks, you've pretty much tried every diet, high carb, low carb, keto, whatever. You've pretty much tried every steroid out there, so you know what compounds work for you. I find a coach these days, or I've always said, all you really need is a good support team, a good training partner, someone who's going to be honest with you, someone who's going to hold you accountable, make sure you're sticking to your diet and just keep you motivated, because physically, I find we can all get ready for a show physically, and the dieting, it's the mental side when your mind starts playing games, thinking, if I do this, I can be better. Maybe if I cut this out and do this. And we all know when you start doing shit like that, you fuck up. So I just don't see how these guys just go to these coaches, because be like, Ron, if you came to me and said, get you ready, I don't know your body. I don't know what food you like. I'd have to ask you, and then I'll give you a diet, give you some gear. Because I'll be looking at you thinking, okay, you know how to train, so I don't have to tell you how to go do dumbbell presses and shit like that. So once I've given you, I'll be like, okay, go away now. In a week or two, let me know how you feel. How you feeling? Okay, we'll take this out, put this in. You can do all that shit yourself. And when I was living with Paul, I remember, because he had Chad helping him back for the 98 Olympia, when Paul was living with me, he had his diet on the fridge, and I'm at the fridge thinking, what am I going to have for lunch? Chicken, steak, this and that. He goes, he goes, that's why I have Chad help me. He goes, son, look at the fridge. I said, yeah. He goes, what's it say for lunch? I said, I think you've got chicken. And so he goes, see, I don't have to think about it. Chad tells me what to do because I'm fucking lazy. So it's just, some people just like it because they want to take that, I guess, the guesswork out. They don't want to have to think about it. It's one less stress. But to me, it was like, if I do it myself, I got no one else to blame but myself. And like I said, you might talk to people, you still get ideas off people and run ideas. But these days, it's just weird that if someone doesn't do good now, they jump ship and go to the coach. Or then all of a sudden it was Stefan when everyone left. Who was everybody with? Like Nick Walker or them? Who were they with when they all left him? Yeah, like everyone left Matt, then everyone went to Stefan. But I often wonder, I don't say it as a bad way, but I often wonder, when you've been doing it your whole life and come up from the amateurs young age and you do get pro, and then someone like Matt comes along, I'm like, what makes people look at Matt and go, this guy can get me ready? It's like, where do some of these coaches come from in the beginning that people flock to him and go, this is the guy? When you look at him, it's like nothing against Matt, but if I looked at him, I'd be like, oh, does he really know what he's talking about type thing? I know some people do know what they're talking about, but to me, I'd go to somebody like a Chris Aceto who's been there and done it, Charles Glass, who I've seen compete and, looks in great shape. And even though Charles is more into the training side than the diet side, but I'd be going to people like that I've known who have been there and done it. And, I know Ian sort of took it the wrong way, but I used to just even question when Ian Valier trained Chris Bumstead, and, Chris won 3 Olympias under Ian, that Ian had a trainer himself. I'm like, well, if you can get Chris in shape to win the Olympia, why can't you get yourself in shape? To me, that was just weird, because it'd be like if I was training you, Ron, for a show and you won a show, but when it comes time for me to get ready, I've got another guy coaching me. If I was you, I'd be like, wait a minute, at least coaching me, but when he gets ready, he goes to see Bob. Bob must know more than Lee, so I'm going to go see Bob. It's like, why doesn't Lee trust himself? It's like, if I'm a coach and I can get 50 people ready for shows and they do well, why can't I fucking get myself ready? It's basically the same shit. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's a monkey see, monkey do sport. Like, there's so many coaches, even at the Tampa show, that are just random dudes or random girls that they've dieted, they got a diet, now they're a coach. It's just kind of like that progress. But I guarantee if Nick does a show when he coaches himself, people will say, well, I could do it myself. Let me try it myself. Mm-hmm. These guys aren't stupid. Like things like you need a set of eyes because you go low carb crazy, right? You want to add this. Oh, I'm too flat. Let me eat some more carbs or let me do more cardio. You need to protect yourself from yourself, right? And I'm sure Nick's got a good circle of people that'll tell him. And listen, he wasn't fat. He wasn't. It's not like he's missing something. He just missed his peak. You're right. People. 6th place at the Mr. Olympia is phenomenal. It's 6th place. But people think if you don't win, oh my God, he took 4th. You're the 4th best bodybuilder on the planet Earth, right? So I think we got to temper our criticism of Nick too, and thinking that he sucks or he missed it. Everybody misses it. Shit, Andrew may miss it in March, right? Remember, Samson last year we pretty much gave him the Arnold Classic trophy. It just it all varies, but I think Nick will be fine. He can do it himself. He's not an idiot. He's very smart. I mean, read his post. He knows his shit, right?
He's got the confidence too. He's got the confidence to do himself. And I think out of anyone around him, I think if he went to step out of line, cheat on his diet or wasn't looking good, trust me, I think his mum or dad would be the first to fucking let him know, because they're close. They love what he does and they support him 100%. It's like I remember my grandmother. I used to walk through the kitchen and I used to get so annoyed. And I yelled at her one day. I still felt guilty about it. I was going from my bedroom to the shower and I live with my grandparents. And my grandmother's sitting at the kitchen table and she's just staring as I walk past and she goes, your back needs a little more work. And I just turned around and I went, fucking hell, Nan. I said, I'm in the fucking house. I don't need to be judged walking to the fucking shower. Because she'd just be looking at me like this. Your back could do a bit more. I'm like, fuck me. It's like I get judged when I'm out in public at the gym, and now you're going to judge me going to the shower. So I think Nick's parents would pretty much be the same. They wouldn't let him get away with anything because they know how much he loves the sport. And like you said, Nick's got his head screwed on right. He's got the confidence. So I think if he has the confidence to believe in himself, because I think it's like what you said, people think to be good now and as a pro, I got to have a coach. I need someone to coach me. No, you don't. No, you don't at all.
Well, final question about Nick. I didn't think it was a peaking issue, really. The condition wasn't bad at all. Even on the first day where everyone said, "Oh, he looked awful," it wasn't that bad. It's his waist has gotten thicker.
Yeah.
And I think it's because he got bigger from Pittsburgh to Olympia, or New York Pro was right after that. And some of that extra weight seems to have thickened up his midsection. I'd love to see him go back down, I don't know, 10, 15 pounds, whatever it takes to get that midsection a little tighter, less thick. Lee, what was your favorite Nick Walker look? Where do you think he was at his best?
I think when his waist was a bit small, and who knows, that could even be a matter of what did he eat before the Olympia? Did he carve up too much? It just expanded his stomach. To me, I never hardly ate anything. I'd eat like the day before and maybe have a bit that night, but the day of the show, even though I could eat something, I'd just be snacking on rice cakes. I was too scared if I eat something, I'm going to spill over, even though I wouldn't have. It's just that mentality. Once pre-judging was over, I was more relaxed, and then I'd go and eat, and come nighttime, you're like, oh, fuck, I look better. I should have done this before pre-judging. But I never really did the carb loading because to me, it's just too much of a fine line. My diet from week 1 to week 16, exactly the same. I just cut out the fluid slowly, tanned up and pumped up. I trained up until the day before the show. Whereas a lot of guys now, they do this peak week, and I hate peak week but again, I think everyone's so programmed to think this last week, I have to do something different because everyone a week or two out looks fantastic. Awesome. If you look that good, don't fucking change it. But for some reason, the mentality, the last week we've got to do something. No, if it's not broken, don't fix it. Just go into a show. And sometimes you feel guilty because you've had those shows where you first dieted, you'd go that hardcore, you'd be miserable. You want to go to a movie? No, I'm fucking dieting. You want to come in? No, I'm dieting. But as you get older and more mature, you learn, wait a minute, I can still go to the gym and train, eat my diet food, and go see a movie, go out for a walk with the girlfriend, because there was some shows I'd be feeling that good and happy. I'm like, I can't be in shape because I'm too happy. I'm not miserable. It's like you'd start questioning yourself because I'm meant to be fucking angry because I'm dieting for a show. So that's just this mentality I think we have, that we need to do peak weeks. We need to be miserable. You don't have to be that way at all. So again, it just comes down to, like I said, lifting weights, you got to be physically strong. But in this sport, the strongest thing you're ever going to use is what's up here, not the muscles.
All right, we have one final topic. Lee, you posted this a couple days ago, yesterday, on the comeback trail. So, is this a current photo?
It's a little bit older, but not so much older. But no.
Yeah. I know you had, was it shoulder issues? Is that
what? That's after I even tore it and that sort of thing. So, yeah, like if I diet down, I can look like that again. If I did it now type thing. So that's how I'd roughly look again. But like I said, that was just before I had the accident. So I was probably about 4 or 5 years old. So I got like this tricep here is a little bit atrophied, and so is that bit part of the chest here, like Scott Steiner, where this bit of chest is missing from the nerve damage. If that come back and the tricep come back, I'd do it again. But like I said, to me, physically, I could easily do it. It's just that mental, fuck, do I want to go through that for 16 weeks, that dieting and the this and that? Whereas, for the last, my last show was 2013. For the last 12 years, I just train when I want, eat what I want to eat. So getting back to that, you have to eat this and you can only have that, I'd be like, oh, this isn't fun anymore. So, but I think I could easily do like a 212 if I had to, or even the Masters Olympia. So, but maybe it's not meant to be, but maybe I never say never anyway. Never say never.
I mean, the Olympia is a title that you never won. You won. Actually, you won the one show or 2 shows in your career?
I won 5 pro shows, 6 pro
5
shows.
pro shows. Yeah, I suck. But
thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Ron.
And when people say, Lee, you never went on with Jay, sometimes they're like, oh, Lee, Jay's won the Olympia. And I've been on his podcast, I think I said, well, it's nice you won the Olympia, Jay, but you never won the Mr. Universe, so fuck you.
maybe I wasn't including things from other organizations because you were the NABA Universe champ. You won some other shows, but would the Masters Olympia feasibly be the show that you would come back at?
Probably. But to me, I like the Masters Olympia to be 50 and over. And just to give it some prestige, it might be hard to get, but I'd like to see it be, you had to have won a pro show or been on the Olympia stage. Because, sometimes you get these guys in it, which I respect being pro, but for the Masters Olympia, it should be, people who have won a pro show before, maybe placed in the top 2, or you've actually been on the Mr. Olympia stage itself, and be over 50, because over 40, shit, some of the guys from the Open Olympia could just go from one to the other. And you're like, come on, guys, give us old fucking wannabe, we think we still have it, people, a chance. Come on.
I mean, that's one thing. I think you should have stood on the Mr. Olympia stage at one point in your career. Not to say you have to be top 10 or anything, but
No.
I don't want to put down the guys from the last Masters Olympia. I'm old. No. I'm 56, but I hadn't heard of at least half the guys in that lineup. And I think maybe 2 of them had been in the Olympia. Phil Clayhart had gone to the Olympia once. And I don't know if anyone else on that stage this year had ever been in the Mr. Olympia. So it was created.
I'm looking at that video there. You're depressing me. That video of where I'm standing in the bush there. That's like a flashback 13, 14. But the bit where I'm in the bush near the trees, that's when I was 19, just before I turned 20.
I think I went way past it.
I don't know. Here it comes. It's coming up in a second where I'm standing outside near the trees. No, let's go on there. But I just post stuff. Oh, look at Lee bulked up. There's a good bulk up Lee picture.
Oof. Boy, oh boy.
That's Jay there, but the one behind it, if you click out that one where I'm lifting the tank top up, go back the other way. Yeah, look at Lee there. Shredded. Look at that.
This one?
That's about 280 pounds.
I saw you probably at 3. Were you ever 300 or 280 was the highest?
285 was the highest.
I saw you at World Gym in Venice with blue hair one time. And I think that was the heaviest you ever were.
Yeah, blue and red hair. But that was the day I just trained. I think that was on like a Memorial Day because Lonnie come to my house that day because I got photos cooking a barbecue and my hair's red and blue and that.
Okay, I'm glad I was able to remember to get the exact date. Yeah, I mean that was a hell of a gym.
Just past it there. I was doing the side tricep shot. That was like back when I was 19.
Well, here you were like 12 here, right?
Yeah.
No, weren't you like this is like when you're 17 or 18 right here?
Yeah, that's 19 there.
That's what people don't realize. Genetics. This sport is about genes. No 19-year-old looks like that. And that's
just before I took gear. So I'm still a lightweight there. If you see the pictures, I've actually put pictures up from there till let's say that's like in January where I'm 19. Go to the end of the year. Let's say 10 months later when I use DECA and I put 20 pounds. So imagine 20 pounds on top of that, but still in shape. You see the difference to when I went on. It's a noticeable difference when I went on the gear, people.
Oh, I mean, that's 100%. Anytime you doubt someone was natural and they suddenly put on like 20, 30 pounds of muscle, clearly they were natural before that.
Well, I can't Google it now, but if you were to Google Lee Priest at 12, 13, you can see that I had the abs, the triceps. It's all there. I had it on one picture once, but when you put it into the Google, it comes up where I'm 12 years old and I got the 8-pack, the tricep, the little lat sticking out. Then it shows a photo from when I was 13 years old.
Oh, there you go.
They're built like grown men, like Lee, Eddie Robinson, Sean Ray. Those guys were built like grown men at like 19 years old, right?
That was me. That was me just 17. That was my first cover in Australia.
And natural. 17.
What's it say? Lee Priest, rising star. Yes.
Australia's new star. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I always have to remind people, you won the Mr. Australia twice as a teenager, and they still wouldn't let you turn pro.
Yeah, too young. You're too young.
That's crazy shit, bro.
Were these all real tattoos on your torso?
Yeah, there. Yeah. That was after I was guest posing for Eddie Elwood there. That was after the Universe.
Huh. Good stuff. The blonde ball.
Oh, go back to the Arnold Classic. That's where Arnold was saying he's a bit short. He could have a problem.
Oh, man. So I guess I'll stop that. And if there's
It's funny. I go in the gym sometimes and they're playing and people are like, oh, Lee, look what's on the TV. I'm like, I'd rather not because the young kids are like, this is so motivational. One day, I think I told you I was doing leg press. I didn't notice the TV behind me. The young kids were watching. They're like, Lee, look at that. I turn around. I'm like, oh, I look at the leg press because now I might only go 7, 8 plates, but just do high reps. I look at the TV. The leg press was loaded up, 4 plates on top. And then as I'm watching it, then I see Ira. Remember Ira? He used to train Louis. He trained me for a few shows. Joe Gold. I'm like, oh, there's my friend Richard. He just committed suicide. I'm like, I'm lifting all that weight and there's 4 of my mates on this video who are dead. I said, yeah, this is really fucking motivational. I said, I'm depressed. I'm going home.
Who's Richard? Did I know Richard?
No, he was a friend of mine out in Austin, Texas, and that he used to own a couple of smoothie shops. And he's done a lot of my training videos with me and that. He was with me for the 2006 Ironman that I won and he'd come to the racetrack and do a lot of that filming for the bodybuilders reality for me. Yeah, sadly committed suicide a couple of years ago.
Yeah, two of my longtime training partners committed suicide. I had nothing to do with it. Don't go there, anybody. Yeah, it's a real problem. So I said I was going to keep to about an hour. I want you to get you get your haircut every 2 weeks, right?
I had my hair cut now. Just got to pick my wife up at 12:30 and then do a podcast with John from Serious and Silliness at 12:30, which I'll do in the car halfway as I'm starting on the way home. But
I'm going to get John on here one day because he's got the thickest Brooklyn or Bronx or whatever it is accent.
Yeah.
I love it.
He's fun. He's fun to talk to. I said his podcast is slowly picking up, but he's like I said, he's not like a serious. Like I said, he's serious when it comes to the podcast, but he's one of those that's more laid back, just to have fun. Not some are just really serious about the dieting and training. That's why we have that one. Well, I think the one today is more about bodybuilding. The one we do on Tuesdays where he's to always have the questions out, and every time I come on he's like, oh fuck it, Lee, you're here, might as well throw these out the window. So that's why it's just about anything on Tuesday, because once I come on the show it just goes to shit.
I intentionally didn't invite anyone else on because I realized if we're going to have Lee Priest on, I don't want to have Lee waiting around for his chance to talk while I go around 4, 5, 6 people. So
don't mind me. Sometimes my brain's like that. Sometimes I think I'm rude because when I get a thought, it's like I just go, blah, blah, and I cut people off. I'm like, oh, fuck, Lee, just wait your turn. But I'm that retarded. If I don't say it quick, I'll forget what I was thinking.
So I'm gonna wrap it up. So I want to thank you, Lee, for taking the time. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
12:02 in Australia. They're 12 plus 16 hours ahead of us. Ooh,
yes, I'm coming to you from the future, people. So if you think the world's going to end today, it doesn't, because I'm on Thursday already. So you will make it tomorrow, people.
I remember the time that you helped me win $1,000 for telling me who won the Super Bowl, like 8 hours before the game happened. So I appreciate that.
And the race tomorrow, race number 8, Lucky Diva in race 7. Horse number 23, Lucky Diva. She's good.
All right. So guys, check out these Instagram pages for Lee Priest Reality. There's exclusive content on there that you're not going to get anywhere else. And of course, you can follow him on Lee Priest Official 72 on the Instagram with all you young crazy kids. Big Mike.
And also, if you want to see a good funny podcast, the Jay Cutler one I did, people are laughing about some of my stories on that one. So
He had McDonald's that show, didn't he?
yes, I made him at McDonald's, and then the following weekend when I was in New Jersey, fans brought me Krispy Kreme. There's videos on my Instagram of me making Phil Heath eat Krispy Kreme donuts because Jay had McDonald's. I'm bringing down these Olympians one at a time to the dark side, eating junk food.
See, little do they know, all Lee actually eats is grass-fed organic stuff from
It's all just an act. All the other stuff is an act.
It's true.
It's funny you say that quickly before you go. When Paul and I got ready for the 98 Olympia, we used to eat those Edamons fat-free chocolate cakes. We'd get the whole cake, the real moist one. So like every couple of days we'd eat it. But as the show gets closer, I'd get up early in the morning, get mine and go down and throw it in the big bin outside. And Paul would come down and go, son, did you eat your chocolate cake? I'm like, yes, father, I ate mine. And as he's eating his, I'd be like, eat it, fucker, I'm going to beat you. Keep eating it, get fat. So I'd always go by 2, throw mine away and make sure he ate his.
I want to close with one. I remember you telling us about this. For the people that thought Dillette and you were just using all kinds of mega doses of drugs, you live together, and sometimes you guys would forget to even take your drugs for a day or two. Like the syringe would be out, and you would just forget to take it.
I'd sit in the fruit bowl on the coffee table for days. I'd be like, "Is that yours or mine?" He's like, "I think it's yours." I'm like, "Yeah, it's probably mine. I'll take it today." "Nah, fuck it, I'll take it tomorrow." And and I'd always hear, "Paul's such a freak. He uses this, uses that." I saw what he used when it came to growth, and that, trust me, people, these are all way, way off. Very, very small amounts. And that's, like I said, I don't lie about anything. If he used fucking 20 IU, 15 IU, I'd tell you, but I never saw him go over 6. And the one day, the most he ever took was 10 because it was his last shot. He goes, "Oh, fuck it, I'll just take what's in the syringe." And that was it. But he was very, very small user.
Right on. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much, Lee Priest.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Who was being David Dirth today, a great bodybuilder from the past. Do some Googling, guys, if you don't know who that was. And appreciate all you guys who joined us live. And if you watch us on the replay, drop some comments in there. It helps us out. Like, subscribe, share, do all that crap. And we'll see you next time on the Meathead Podcast. Peace.